Hey everybody, Mike Catalano along with Dan Fates here on Buffalo Plus. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate all of our subscribers. Let's talk about the big story from Wednesday here in Orchard Park. Cole Beasley is back, seeing him on the practice field. What did it look like to you?
I thought he looked okay. I thought it was very interesting. He talked about the fact that he didn't run any routes when he was retired and said that that wasn't unusual to him. He said during the offseason he never ran routes. For the first 6 years of his career, he would just play basketball. So he's actually been keeping up in shape playing basketball, and he was the one that actually reached out to the Bills a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a heck of a basketball player, too. Yeah. He's an athlete, and that's what he was trying to do to keep in shape. But there's a difference between that and then stepping out on the field. But before he got to the field, he talked about, you said, reaching out to the Bills. And look, he's been open about it. There were issues between he and the franchise, and I think the way he felt, he had asked for that trade, and there was tension. And I think it was a myriad of things that just got to him. So we had conversations with McDermott and Bean, and they seemed to have it worked out.
I said that this Cole Beasley felt different than the one we saw last year, especially on social media. Look, we had a lot of talking points about it. He didn't want to get into that. He didn't want to get into the specifics of what he did wrong, but he admitted that he did things wrong, and there are things that he could do over, and he wants to right some of those wrongs. I thought he was contrite. I thought he was humble. He wasn't combative. He said that this is about, he loved it here, and that when he left, he wanted to get back to what it was for his family and how much he loved it. And he admitted the internet world kind of got to him, and I thought it was a fresh Cole Beasley, and Mike, you said it, I think Cole needed some time away from the Bills. I think the Bills needed some time away from Cole.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed at peace. I would say that's it. A calm guy who's saying, let me go out and play. Now we're talking about on the field and what he brings to the team. There was sort of an underlying, not even underlying, a pretty open message about what he is for this offense, what he can be for this offense, what he does that is a unique skill set. He gets open.
He's a quarterback as a slot receiver. And I think you asked him, there's a fine line between, well, anybody can be in the slot. You just put a guy in the slot and he's fast and he's shifty and that's it. But Cole sees the game differently. That is what Josh said, and you asked him, like, why is that? And he said he grew up, his dad coached him as a quarterback, and he said there's not a lot of people that get that coaching. So that's how he views the game. It's different than your run-of-the-mill slot receiver.
Even the really good ones. There are phenomenal players who play in that spot. I think he plays it differently, and he is a unique talent that way. It doesn't mean a guy like Isaiah McKenzie's skill set or other players that have played in the slot can't have success and can't make it work. I think Cole sees it differently, and I got to say, I got the feeling Josh Allen has missed that.
I think so. I think that's we were talking about it in the drive up here today. I don't think Cole Beasley is the solution to this offensive issues that this team has been having of late. But I think he can be part of fixing it. Yeah. And whether that is, we talked about it, on first down, they're averaging over the last month 4 yards per play. That's not good enough. And if Cole Beasley can give them some easy 6-7 yard gains that turn second down into you can take shots on second down then, and it makes third and manageable a lot easier.
Yeah, and I think he knows that role, and I think Josh Allen will be pretty familiar with him. Now, we don't know if he's going to play on Saturday night. I think he's going to play on Saturday night.
I think he's going to play on Saturday
I think they
night.
want him on the field. Look, this is not October or September where you're signing him, which is part of the reason I even asked Sean McDermott that about getting a guy ramped up here. Let's face it, you're signing him for the rest of the year. It's the game against the Dolphins for first place and a chance to basically clinch the division. And if he's healthy and ready to go, he knows the offense, I think they can get him on the field. Now, we won't know that for sure, but they'll have him the rest of the way. But I think you made a good point of saying is if he's the guy that's got to fix everything, they're in trouble. Well, let's be honest. If you have to take a guy who was basically retired and he's what you need to fix the offense, then you're in a lot of trouble. They are 10-3.
Yes.
They do score points.
Yes.
I think what they're looking for is that other element to free up other guys too. I think it could free up Gabe Davis. I think it could free up even Isaiah McKenzie, maybe to get back to the roles they used to play.
I think it's just giving him a couple of freebies. Now, my only concern, and we talked about on the way up here, I know a lot of people say it's Jimmy's and Joe's. That's what football's played. It's played with guys on the field. You still have to work on the X's and O's to coach guys up. And we talked about it. We've talked about it a lot on this channel. Naeem Hines. Oh, can't wait till he gets coached up. he hasn't been what we all thought he could be in this offense. So it's a different offense than last year. But can you find some of that success, some of those successful plays that Ken Dorsey soaked up, hopefully from Brian Dable, to let Beasley be Beasley?
The difference, though, is Beasley has done it with these players. And I think it wouldn't take much for Ken to look back at what they did with Beasley and that they had success. All right, that's Beasley getting ready to play. Vaughn was here. He was
spectacular,
hilarious in his news conference.
I've thought at times it's almost been a little bit of an act. At times the way that he's I love everything. I love all these things. His power of positive thinking was on full display today. And it was motivational. If you have the chance, go watch the entire press conference because he was awesome per usual, but it felt even more genuine today to me.
Yeah, well, he did have knee surgery. Like, he went into that surgery literally giving the okay to the doctors to say, and this happens, if any of you have had to have this kind of surgery, you say, look, if you're in there and you need it, you get it done. And I said, well, what was that like? He's like, well, I was actually still under the anesthesia. I was a little like, whatever.
What we do?
And then he's like, okay, I trusted these guys. I mean, that takes a level of positivity and maturity, I think, to say, this season is over for me. Now, it does help in a way when you are a made man in this league.
Yes.
You have won the Super Bowl twice. You've been a Super Bowl MVP. You are going to be in the Hall of Fame. But he came to this team to do it. And I do think there's a part of him that is going to really miss being out on the field. But, man, the guy buys in, doesn't he?
I thought he goes, I read an article, and he goes, not that I read articles, which was great. That was how Vaughn acted today. It was amazing. But he said that somebody wrote, I don't know who it is, shout out to whoever the writer is, but said that Von Miller was a luxury, not a necessity. And he goes, we still got Greg Rousseau, you still got A.J. Epinesa, Boogie Basham, Ed Oliver, all these guys, Shaq Lawson's playing amazing. And he goes, I'm like the Ferrari you get to bring out. And I think he does have this belief, and hopefully some of that positive thinking has been passed on to the rest of this D-line.
By the way, I thought when he was going to go down that line of saying they said Von Miller was a luxury, 99.9% of the pro athletes I would have ever talked to would have said, I'm not a luxury. He's like, yeah, I am. And I get what he was saying when he said that. So he said, I'm going to be here with the Bills team. And then he said,
until they go to Arizona.
Until they go to the Super Bowl, right in Arizona. But he said, now last week I watched the game down in Dallas at a sports bar. And then he kept talking. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, Von Miller sitting at a sports bar. So I say,
imagine sitting at a sports bar and seeing Von Miller stroll out.
So I go, what's it like for you to sit in a sports bar? He goes, oh, I rented out the entire sports bar.
It was amazing.
And then he started talking about that. Now, he lost me there a little bit. Was he talking about his podcast? Is that what he was doing? He was saying, or is he?
I don't know if it was treatment. I don't know if he was like talking about that he had like a chamber with
He
him.
might have had that, the thing that helps stimulate movement in the leg and all, whatever it is. He was in a lounge chair. He had his family with him and friends, and he needed space. He took naps after games, and he watched the game. So he basically said, I'm going to rent out your entire sports. Picture this. You're renting it on a Sunday.
Busy Sunday. Probably their busiest. You get, 18 of those a year.
It's fun. He's got that in the couch, man. He's just like, I want the sports bar for the day. So he did that, which I thought was spectacular, but it's right on brand for him. So he's being there. We're inside. It's a nice day today. It's sunny. It's cold.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be worse on Saturday. So everybody talks about the Bills have the advantage. The Bills have the advantage. And I think they do in this sense. The Dolphins haven't really played in it. They don't play in it. The Bills have the advantage of having to go through it, but
nobody likes it.
They really dislike it.
Yeah. Poyer said it. Josh Allen also said, it's cold. There's nothing you can really do.
Josh took his shoes off to try to get his toes warm from practice, where he said, my toes were frozen.
Well, he was the one last year that we asked him, I think it was also when Dawson Knox was asked about taking Viagra to help increase the blood flow to keep warm. So I think they've tried all the tricks. Josh talked about putting icy hot on his toes.
You may have to try that for Saturday.
And so to keep things warm, fascinating stuff. But Poyer also said it's a mindset. We do get to practice in it during the week. It does help. But he goes, whatever you got to do to get yourself ready physically, mentally, or emotionally.
Well, he told this story about when he played for the Browns, and he's mentioned it before, where they flew in.
Yeah.
And he's playing for the Browns, and he's like, And you're coming from Cleveland, okay, where it's cold. But he's like, it was so cold. He goes, now wind chill hits you. And he goes, I got to tell you, it impacts you. This to the Dolphins. Like, it hits you. And he goes, I was like, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be on the field. Now, a couple of things. I asked Poyer who does like it. He said, oh, probably the big guys because they don't like it when it's hot. That's when he's talking about the difference between being really hot and cold. And then I asked Josh Allen, who on your team likes the cold?
Dawson Knox, because he gets to wear a tank top and show off his arms and take all the pictures. So it was awesome.
Love that the quarterback takes a shot at his buddy on the team, his tight end buddy on the team, and he did. So as far as everybody thinking, it may be an advantage, but they hate it.
Yeah, I think it's more of a greater disadvantage to the Dolphins rather than it is an advantage for the Bills.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. Like
the Dolphins had heated benches in LA.
Yeah. Fellas, better be ready. All right, we're going to be ready for that. We've got plenty of coverage here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. For Dan Fates and Jenna Cottrell, I'm Mike Catalana. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Buffalo Plus.